Joining me now, Chris Bedford, executive editor of the Common Sense Society. Chris, seeing all this, you almost start to get the feeling that this Sam Bankman-Fried freak is going to get away with it. Do you?
It certainly, you start to wonder that if he's going to get away with that. He's got so many defenders, so many people from the media, which is, by the way, he was basically the first cryptocurrency to be covered positively at all by the New York Times because of exactly what you said, the club he belongs to, from people in business who are trying to save face. Everyone's just wishing this would go away. But this is a different kind of scheme that we're looking at here. This is not just simply some another criminal Bernie Madoff. Those guys have always existed. The con man, Madoff, of course, got a lot more money than most con men get, but those guys have always existed, just playing off of people's greed and using their trust. What makes Sam different, we have a piece coming out in our Substack at the Common Sense Society tomorrow about this. What makes him different is he was trafficking in something that's new in American circles, trafficking in virtue signaling. If you want to if you want to be an investor in his company, you're part of the effective altruism group. You're making the world a better place. You're not just getting rich. You're not just buying a massive mansion like he did in some kind of tax haven and throwing sex parties there. You're actually a good person. It makes you feel good. All these people buy into that. And right now you can rise in American society, our post says, just by that kind of virtue signaling. It's a new kind of status symbol you can attain, and that's what he was selling, and that's what people are so desperate to defend.
And yet in one of those interviews, he was kind of blowing off the ESG model, saying that essentially people are just checking boxes and it doesn't really have any positive effect on the world. So that was an interesting moment when he kind of was like, well, that doesn't really mean anything.
He's in on this game. He's admitted in some private chats that have since been leaked that a lot of this was just part of a really effective marketing strategy. He put himself out to the government as an expert on how to regulate cryptocurrency. He put himself out to the press as not only someone who would pay for lavish trips for them, but someone who could talk to them, who could be cool like them, be part of their club. That was all part of it. And ESG is another kind of scam, exactly. It's something that just basically employs people to be good virtue checkers inside of your company, allows left-wing politics in your company, and puts business interests and common sense in second place. It's another scam. He recognizes that. But as long as this virtue signaling is still a way to gain status, as long as the CEO of Disney can ignore their customers, or Tim Cook can ignore the American conservatives and Christians while doing business with China, as long as those sort of things continue, this fake virtue signaling will continue as well.
Now, Bankman-Fried also gave generously, not just to Democrats, but to liberal publications like Vox and Ben Smith's startup, a Semaphore. So he was asked about this. Watch.
I think media matters a lot, and I want to support good media ventures. That was the whole thesis there. And I don't have governance over any of these. I was looking to support journalists doing great work because I think what they do is really important.
Really important work, like giving him more glossy profiles or helping him out on the PR side.
It's so open. It's so flagrant. It's kind of wild. It's impressive how flagrant he is to hand over all this money to journalists in exchange for good coverage. I mean, that's part of the game and a large part of the journalism industry. They pretend that they're martyrs, that they're out there, they're risking their lives, they're risking their tails. In reality, they're taking money from corporate America to whisper things back to corporate America that it wants to hear. And that's, corporate America's got a problem here because Sam is not the only person absolutely skirting the rules here. Sam's not the only person who wasn't being supervised. This is a problem throughout finance. This is a problem with Google ads. This is a problem in a lot of corporate America, and they definitely don't want to see too many people poking around it.
Chris, great to see you. Thank you.